In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the characteristics and organization of a science report. You will need to turn your practice companion books to page 128 and get out your writing journal. So before we begin taking a look at a science report, we're going to take a look at writing a science report and the how and the why behind writing a science report. So first of all, how do you write a science report? What you need to do is ask a question about an interesting topic in science, and you also use facts and details that answer the question, and you also include research from a variety of sources. So that's kind of the how behind it. So asking a question, using facts and details, and then include research from a variety of sources. The key word here is variety of sources. You don't want to just go on one website and get all your information there, because you're just basically saying what that one website is and not really synthesizing any type of research that you have conducted. So let's take a look at the why behind writing a science report. Why would you want to do that? You want to explain an interesting topic in science. You want to teach the reader something new, and also explore a topic that is interesting to the writer. So it is important to find an interesting topic, at least one that appeals to you and you think the reader will enjoy reading. So what I want you to do is turn to page 128 in your practice companion books, and I want you to read the science report, Super Plants of the Amazon. And as you read, I want you to answer these questions I have right up on my screen. And when we come to class today, we're going to go over these questions. So I want you to pause the video and read the writing model. So pause the video now. Okay, now that you have read the writing model, answer those questions, we're going to take a look at some good characteristics of a science report. Now, I do want you to write these down in your writing journal as I give them. So a good science report, first of all, tells about an interesting topic related to science. Pretty obvious there, but very important that your choice has to relate to science. Also includes facts and details that support and explain the topic. Keyword facts, not necessarily opinions about things, but you want to stick to facts here. Has an introduction that grabs the reader's attention and tells what the report will be about. So very important that you do have a hook for your audience that really draws them in. Oftentimes you may ask a question, or oftentimes you may just really use really good descriptive language in that opening. Includes middle paragraphs that adds facts and details, and we'll look at this a little bit more in depth in just a few minutes. Has a conclusion that summarizes major points. Very important that you just stick to the major points of the topic and not go all over the place. And then obviously sticks to the topic. You don't want to go on rabbit trails and go off topic or anything like that. Very important to stick to the topic and remain focused with your report. So I do want you to pause the video and write these details down, some good characteristics of a science report. So here's a very important piece. We're going to take a look now at the organization of a science report. Very important to write this down, and we're going to talk about what's in the introductory paragraph, the middle paragraphs, and finally the concluding paragraph. So first of all, introductory paragraphs tells what the report is about. I should say paragraphs, but paragraph, the first one, tells what the report's about and will grab the reader's attention. Very important to have a hook there. Okay, so the middle paragraphs, you can see first of all presents a main idea that develops the topic, presents another main idea that develops the topic, and the third, or I should say the fourth paragraph, paragraphs 2 through 4, the final one, presents another main idea that develops the topic. So you can even take a look at the writing model for page 128, those middle paragraphs. First of all, it talks about the watershed. The third paragraph talks about the biodiversity, and then the fourth paragraph talks about how all the plants help the Earth's climate. Now, jumping back to the introductory paragraph, you can see starts as a question. Okay, where can you find a water lily that's as big as you are? Where do the trees grow so thick and tall that you cannot even see the tops of them? So you can see right away draws the reader in with the question. Then finally, that concluding paragraph in the science report kind of summarizes the main ideas and leaves the reader with something to think about. Okay, so you can see that in that final paragraph it does talk about the climate control, biodiversity, the rain, and so on within the Amazon rainforest, and then finally gives the reader something to think about. So very important that you stick to this organization as you're writing a science report. So it is important to write these characteristics down with each paragraph in your writing journal so you can refer back as you begin to write your report. Okay, so when we come to class today, this is what we're going to be working on. We're going to be thinking about possible purposes, audiences, and topics for your science report. You want to consider issues in science that interest you, and you're going to be jotting these down in your writer's notebook. We're going to be taking a look at page 129 in your practice companion book. We're going to look at that evaluation rubric, which will really help us stay focused as we begin writing our science report. So that'll be your job as you come today. So this concludes the video on the introduction of a science report and looking at the characteristics and organization of a science report. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.